G'day trendsetters, and welcome to the 2019 running of the Red Clay Ramble, held in Eatonton, Georgia, located pretty much bang in the middle of the state of Georgia. And the temperature happens to be quite toasty and humid. Yum.
You again, what's up?
Look at this, these guys are racing with their bikes on the back with numbers.
That's right.
They're not going anywhere. G'day trendsetters, I'm here with Jeff Hopkins. He's another Aussie.
How you going?
He's from Sydney. He's racing the Red Clay Ramble today. Mate, what are your expectations?
My expectations is to make the start line and then a little while shortly thereafter make the finish line.
Very lofty goals, mate, very lofty goals. Behind me is the stud muffin lineup. Look at these guys. So ordinarily I start from the front, but today I'm going to start from the back. There you go. There you are, number one bogan right there. G'day, mate.
Yeah, number one.
I gently make my way towards the rear of the field with a little mingling along the way.
Here we are, trendsetters, heading towards the back of the race here. Right, here's the party crew at the back right here. This is where the dudes are at. All right.
This is K-Dogg's view of the start, and here's my view of the start, which is a bit more casual at the back. On my immediate left and behind in the next scene is my good friend Kathy, and this happens to be her first ever gravel race. I politely weave my way through the riders. Already at this early juncture, gaps are forming everywhere. I'm chugging along riding a solid tempo, ideally hoping to settle in with a good group of riders going about the same pace. I'm being careful not to ride too fast and go into the red because I've made that mistake before at this race and others and blown up spectacularly and crawled into the finish, which is never pretty. Directly ahead of me is Mrs K-Dogg, who started somewhere in the middle of the pack and is chugging along riding her own tempo. I'm getting close to the point of catching the perfect group. This is K-Dogg's view of proceedings. I believe he's in the second group on the course, and he's doing a lousy job of keeping the camera lens clear of dust. But I digress. The riders in this group are riding a wee bit faster than yours truly. K-Dogg doesn't descend so well, but on the flip side, he's quite handy on the climbs. And there are a ton of small climbs on this course. These are power climbs, so true climbers won't enjoy them. Meanwhile, further back, I'm chugging along with a group of characters including Jesse, who is riding in the single speed category. Single speed is all about momentum, so at times, he'd fly off the front to get an advantage leading into a climb to keep his speed going. Our group was dynamic at this point in the video. Riders had come and gone. For a while, we were joined by Betty Jean, who is very strong, and she's currently training for this year's Paris-Brest-Paris. In other words, 1,200 kilometers with a 90-hour time limit. Oof. The other lady in our group is Ursula, who wasn't shy about contributing to the pace-making of our group. It took a while, but eventually we got a quartet of riders, myself included, who were riding together very well. Mentioned earlier, there is Ursula from the Women's Masters category, Brian in Men's Masters, and Greg riding in the Ultra Masters category. Remember, age is but a number. Our pace was such that we were catching riders who had been dropped from groups on the course ahead of our own. We welcomed their company, even if they only stayed for a short visit. There were 1 or 2 paved sections on the course, but most of it was Georgia red clay roads with a serious smattering of gravel sitting on top. In these scenes, we were nearing the furthest most aid station on the course. Yours truly and the rest of my quartet would stop for a quick refill of water and such. Our quartet rejoined after the aid station and generally stuck together, although Brian was riding a notch above everybody else on the climbs. On my wheel is Roxanne, and she's doing a nice job of hanging with our group. At this point in the video, our group had caught Tina, who was leading the Women's Master category. It needs to be said that she crashed, got up, and was still killing it, and ultimately won the category. I temporarily waved bye-bye to the group here as I made a quick stop at the next aid station, mostly to grab water that I would likely throw over my head later on. I'm by myself now, chugging along with about 9 miles or 15 kilometers still to ride. The heat of the day was really kicking in and hurting many riders at the event, including my 64-year-old teammate, K-Dogg, who I'm about to catch. K-Dogg was having some issues relating to cramp, so I did my best to tow him along to the finish line. Behind me in the final turn for the finish line was Cal, Greg, Ursula and K-Dogg. K-Dogg and I had figured out that he may have a shot at the Ultra Masters podium, so he set about a cunning plan to utilise some sneaky tactics to get into the line ahead of this group. Greg was in the same age category as K-Dogg, so you know where I'm going here. A lifting of the pace saw yours truly in the company of Greg and K-Dogg with just a few hundred metres to the finish line. K-Dogg and I shamelessly used our sneaky tactics to store K-Dogg a third place in the Ultra Masters category. Greg, I humbly apologise for our silly antics. It was an absolute pleasure riding with you. K-Dogg was so knackered and just about cramping that he freewheeled across the finish line. And now it's time for a post-race interview.
We're here at the Red Clay Ramble aftermath, and it was actually quite a nice day today. The bloke next to me, pardon me if the camera's focusing on me, this thing is designed for narcissists. Anyway, he's Gravel Dad on Instagram. How was your experience today, mate?
It was good. It felt great for about 50 miles, and last 6 miles kind of fell apart, but it was a fun ride.
Thankfully, it was only 6 miles of falling apart. Yeah. It could have been way worse. Oh, mate, good job.
Cheers.
Now, check out this couch Gravel Dad's sitting on. That's amazing. Looks very comfortable. Hey, mate, where's Gravel Mum today?
Gravel Mum's at home with the Gravel kids.
Wow, must be nice. You hope. All right, then.
Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos as they are released to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.